Oh, I think we know who you are. That's the Goo Goo Dolls on... Unusual name, isn't it, for a group? That's on Virgin Radio. Yes, of course. Virgin Radio UK, Tom Allen here with my new show, New Times. And, of course, we're getting ready for a new season in the garden. So I am going to be talking about what I'm calling Tom's Tips, my advice for what you should be doing in the garden at the moment. And let me tell you, the listenership has already been in touch. I've got a number of messages to read out about what other people have been doing. I've got some questions I'm going to answer. Not that I'm an expert, but I just like to, if I've got any knowledge, I'll share it with you. You can do the same with me. Top tip for me is label what you put where. Bear in mind, you might not know what you've got until you've got it. I had an experience where I thought I was planting lettuces. Turned out it was chard. I've already heard from some of you about what you've been doing. This week, it's time for me to. It's been time for me to start planting my vegetable patch. I put in the seeds for beetroot, cabbages, carrots, Brussels sprouts, runner beans. But I've also yet to plant my potatoes, cucumbers, and tomatoes. I think I might have to start off the cucumbers and tomatoes in a greenhouse or indoors because it's still a bit, let's be honest, wintry. But it's been a good week. I also put on Instagram a new game show I'd like to play called Dead or Not Dead, where I looked at a plant which I've had for a long time, but it hasn't had a great time recently, and I think it might be dead. But I put it out there on Instagram. You can look at it if you like. @TomIndeed is my handle there. See what you think. If you've got any advice, it's a bird of paradise, but I think Paradise Lost, I think, is what it might be now. But I'm going to try. I've got some advice already, so I'm going to try what people say. So I like to share a bit of my knowledge. I don't know everything at all, as you'll tell by how many things I've killed. But I think it's nice to talk about gardening, share a bit of info. Morning, Tom. Great to hear you on a Sunday morning. This is from David and Craig in Worcester, who put in brackets, and we are two people. Yes, because last week, I got this message and I thought they were Craig David because they're called David and Craig. And I thought it was just Craig David messaging in a sort of euphemistic way. No, apparently they're separate people. An update on last week's interior picture hanging. At nothing in the house is straight and getting things to line up, Craig decided to go random heights and sizes of frames. Oh, well, thank you for that update on your interiors. Still doing the weeding in the garden, but this week's gardening challenge has been squirrels eating my nuts. Oh, a classic. A classic. For some months, I thought I'd beaten them from eating from my bird feeders by hanging the feeder from a piece of barbed wire. That sounds very aggressive. And not very friendly in the garden. It's not very sort of peaceful to look at barbed wire, I'd say. That seemed to put them off, but in the week, they broke the feeder. So now I've got a much thicker wire and made it longer. But I saw one just slide down to the repaired feeder. Help! ! Any tips? We're looking forward to seeing you in Oxford on Friday. Oh, yes, I am there on Friday on my tour. Well, David and Craig, that's a tough one. I don't know if I have an answer to it, though, because you've tried your best to keep those pesky squirrels away from your nuts. I wonder, you've tried barbed wire. Is there something else you could put around, maybe foil or something like that round the wire that's holding up the bird feeder? That might make it more difficult for them to scrabble up and down. You might have to keep on top of it, though. I think you might have to be there every day changing it. Something slippery, maybe? Could you maybe grease the wire that's holding it? I don't know, just thoughts. I've also had a message from Mark. Hi, Tom. Hope you're well. Oh, I'm down on the allotment, wrapping my raised bed pellet boxes in some flamboyant patina noir damp-proof membrane to grow my veggies in. Peas and love from Mark. Peas. Do you get it? P-E-A, peas and love. Oh, and let me tell you, your raised bed pellet boxes, you'll be the envy, absolute envy of your allotment. Good luck with your flamboyant patina noir damp-proof membrane. I mean, I say that to anybody, actually. But you've got to have a flamboyant patina noir damp-proof membrane if you're going to get ahead on the allotment. Oh, you've got to. You've got to. It's very competitive and very, very shallow.